remember Tuesday afternoon, I was done with school and work for the day, and it was like 5 p.m. and I was laying in bed, fully clothed, just scrolling endlessly on Instagram instead of going to the gym. And all I can remember is the heaviness of making the decision to physically move myself to get to the gym and train. And at the time, it felt like this very choice was draining the remaining energy out of me, like it didn't have enough willpower to rely on. And in a sense, I wasn't wrong. The fact that I was big on procrastination and filling my life with cheap dopamine made all the decisions harder. And I wasn't aware of it, but this is what's called willpower depletion. And that's the very reason why sustaining a healthy lifestyle when your current one is chaotic truly feels unreachable. It feels like every tiny healthy decision is mentally 10,000 times more costly than what it should be. And in my case, I couldn't sustain going to the gym consistently because of all the distractions. So if you're watching this, you have to know that when the habits that you're trying to integrate aren't coherent with your current daily life, it will be hard and even feel impossible in the moment. It is precisely why sticking to the healthy habits seems unsustainable and how to resolve this willpower depletion problem. Your chaotic lifestyle makes the decision feel impossible. Each decision that you make throughout the day costs you a fair share of your decision making energy. And the average American makes around 70 conscious decisions per day. Now, some of these choices are mundane, meanwhile, others are excruciating to make. Those intentional choices are the ones that trigger a lot of inner tension, such as, I don't know, do I go to the gym or do I watch another Netflix episode? And you see, the problem in modern life is that you have a lot of decisions to make, probably too much, in fact. You have too many decisions to make, and those decisions, they contain too much options. This notion has been highlighted in social psychology by Barry Schwartz, and it's called the paradox of choice. It basically states that the more options you have regarding one choice, the higher the likelihood of dissatisfaction regarding that decision. Simply put, if you go to a restaurant and there are 40 items on the menu, it will require a lot of mental work for you to choose. Because your brain is designed to compute opportunity costs, you'll probably end up choosing something and then just telling yourself it wasn't the right choice. The more decisions you have to make, the harder it gets to make them, and the lower the quality of these decisions ultimately. This applies especially when the choices aren't part of your routine, aka trying going to the gym or eating healthy when it's not currently the case. Here's why. You have something that's called a willpower reserve, which is limited. This is precisely the source of energy you use in order to make the healthy choices. And from the moment you wake up to the moment you put your head onto the pillow, all you do is you make decisions. Out of sleep, your willpower reserve is at 100%, but every little decision is going to take willpower points from you. Now, if the decision you make is the same as usual, it doesn't cost your brain that much willpower. On the other hand, if you choose the unusual response, it costs you way more. For example, if you're used to hit the snooze button in the morning, if you don't do it, you'll give away 5 points. Choose to make the healthy breakfast choice and it will take you 10 more points. Do you see how easily this can get to the bottom? For most people, work will deplete a good portion of their willpower reserve. This is why after answering emails and dealing with obnoxious coworkers for 8 hours straight, you find yourself completely drained of willpower. And you get to that state where you only have 10 lasting points in your willpower bank. It's now 5 p.m. and going to the gym requires 30 points or so. Hence, you're not going. Even if your body could theoretically exercise, it's not a lack of energy per se that you feel, it's a lack of mental energy, willpower. Because you burnt all your stocks during the day and now you can't seem to make proper decisions anymore. And that's exactly why making good choices in the evening or at night is extremely hard. Your willpower reserves are so low. This is usually when people tend to indulge in cheap dopamine and ruin their efforts that they made throughout the day. Now, the main problem is that in a chaotic lifestyle where unhealthy choices have been repeated and cultivating, making the opposite choice will cost you way more than it should. And this is explained by the fact that your mind, your inner algorithm, has been programmed to repeat the same type of choices that you've been making so far. And there is a compound effect to it. And this is why it's unfair. If you've been living in chaos for long enough, and by that I mean unbalanced diet, non-regular sleep schedule, no exercise, your whole system consider this your baseline level. For you, that's what's normal. And if unhealthy is the norm, healthy is going to be the exception. The solution to that is to rebalance your lifestyle gradually to make healthy the new norm and unhealthy the new exception. You only have one battery for everything. Willpower allows self control, which is crucial if you want to make the healthier choices, especially when it comes to your lifestyle. And self control is the ability to resist short term gratification in pursuit of long term goals. As long as you have willpower points, you're able to control your actions and make better choices. But when trying to work on your health and fitness, you need to understand something crucial to this process. Willpower is a general battery, meaning it's not only specific to fitness. The decision that you make in one domain of your life can drain as much energy, if not more, than making the right decisions regarding your fitness. For example, your relationships, your work, your family, friends, all of these categories, they use the same battery. And a lot of people add fitness to their lifestyles without realizing that if you need 30 points to go to the gym and your work is currently costing 80 points of your willpower bank, this is not happening, at least not sustainably, because you'll still experience bursts of whatever motivation that can last a few hours to up to a few weeks. But this isn't what you're looking for because it's not sustainable. And if you want to make it sustainable, your goal is to lower the cost of your fitness decisions. Meal prepping healthy foods, tracking your macros, going to the gym, it shouldn't be that hard to do. And at first, these will be extremely demanding because it's not the usual response that you're making to those types of decisions. That being said, you don't have less willpower than other people that train daily, eat right, or sleep well. The problem is that making the healthy alternative is much more costly to you than it is for people who have been cultivating these choices for a long time. That distinction is crucial. You don't have less willpower, it just costs you more. And here's the secret: the more you perpetuate a choice, the easier it gets. And the fewer willpower points you have to consume on making that decision. Now, if you've been sporadically training and you've never been really consistent, I will bet that it's because going to the gym costs you too much mental energy, too much mental effort. Now, for someone who's been doing this for 10 plus years, for example, exercising has become part of their routine. Therefore, it may cost them, I don't know, 5, 2, or maybe even 0 points in willpower. And for someone who truly enjoys going to the gym, it may even add willpower points to their balance. Now imagine getting 5 bonus points for just going to the gym. Cool, right? But for that to happen, you have to stick to the habit and keep making the hard decisions, allowing your brain to reprogram itself basically by repeating the same healthy choices over and over again until it has to lower the cost of making that decision because it has become normal. Harsh truth: most people quit before reaching that point. Now, how to make the healthy alternative your normal response? The first thing is you have to do it, you have to make space. All the domains in your life are connected to the same battery, your willpower reserve. If your work, relationships, habits are already depleting your willpower because they're too demanding, your fitness will suffer. More than that, you'll build up frustration as you try to make better decisions without the willpower capacity to back your choices up. This may cause you to consciously know that you should be eating the vegetables or the cookies, not doing it because you've used all the willpower on other decisions during that day and disliking your choice for not doing so. Make more space. You have to know that changing your habits for healthier options is highly demanding and that you need to set up your environment in a way that will allow you to reserve enough mental points for your fitness decisions. Another thing I didn't cover, maybe because it deserved its own video: cheap dopamine from social media, screens, and video games, to name a few, insidiously drain your brain points too. You don't have to condemn them, but you need to be aware of their effect though. Make early decisions. Following the tendency of willpower to renew at night, you want to make the hardest decisions first thing in the morning. Planning helps also a lot because you don't have to keep making these decisions. Your calendar or the to-do list, they just tell you what to do. This approach prevents you from depleting your willpower reserves on the wrong things and then end up on the couch depleted, not being able to choose to go to the gym. This means tackling the most important task of your day before anything else. And to achieve this, you have to be aware of your priorities and the decision cost of your habits. Rank them in order. If your health is the most important thing, as it should be, you should consider working out in the morning before work, for example. Reduce the risk of destroying your efforts. Know that willpower depletion is inevitable. After a long, hard day at work, you won't be able to efficiently make the right decisions. Your brain will be depleted of glucose and your brain circuits will become inefficient at making the proper decisions. Now, two things will help you in this case. First, make sure that your environment aligns with your goals and willpower levels. For example, if you usually watch TV in the evening and snack at the same time, but you want to get rid of the snacking habit, change your environment so that snacking becomes harder to do. Second, expect that your willpower levels will be low eventually. Therefore, while they're still high, take advantage of that and redesign your environment to help the future you make better decisions. Now, repeat the healthy choices over and over again. Choosing the healthy alternative is hard right now. It's very demanding. Choosing the gym over Netflix, the salad over the pasta, or the run over the scrolling takes a lot of willpower. But it won't always be this way. Because if you keep making the good choice, whatever this means for you, it will compound. And soon enough, it will be easier for you to make the right decision as your brain will integrate that this is the normal choice to make. But for that to happen, you have to keep making good decisions to allow your brain to reprogram its algorithm. As going to the gym becomes a regular part of your routine, it won't cost you 30 willpower points anymore, but only 10 or simply 5. This is why building a healthy lifestyle is hard. But it's also why, if you build it the right way and take the time to do things correctly, it will stay with you for the rest of your life. So as always, I hope this helps. Trust the process.